In spring, when I was feeling really overwhelmed, I kept saying, I really wish there was a tip sheet, something very simple that kind of lists and reminds me what are some simple strategies that parents can do, that I can do. And I wanted it in hard copy so badly. I wanted something that fits on one page that I can stick on my refrigerator. And when I'm losing it, I can walk by and be like, I'm Jelena Obradovic. I'm associate professor at the Stanford Graduate School of Education, and I'm a developmental psychologist by training. At risk at sounding like a recipe book, I think there are 6 themes that I think parents should keep in mind as they are setting up to deal with the new school year and trying to support their children distance learning and also maintaining the well-being of the entire family. The first one is the structure. Kids really thrive when they have some predictable routines, predictable schedule, when they know where they need to show up every morning, they have a consistent place to learn, and they know what's expected from them. I think we need to model what teachers sometimes do during first few weeks of the school year in setting up the values and expectations, and be proactive in kind of discussing with children what kind of behaviors they expect from their parents, from their siblings, from themselves. And I think when we proactively structure these things, it's easier then to respond when things are not working. You can always reference those mutually agreed expectations and kind of tie your consequences to the values that you all came together about. The other thing at the same time, while the routine and the structure is really, really important, you want to be flexible about this. During these times that are very challenging and there is overlapping crises, we have to remember that it's about the effort, that it's about progress, that it's not about perfection, and that we need to account for children potentially regressing a little bit in their skills and their behaviors. And so reminding yourself that everybody's trying to do their best and revisiting these structures and schedules and routines to ensure they're really helping everybody and satisfying everybody's needs. During the time that children don't have a lot of control over when their schools are going to open, who they can see, how they can play, where they can go, it is really important to create some opportunities for them to foster their independent skills and the agency. There's a lot of things that when you're stressed out, it's easier to just do it for your kid or to answer, and so I think it's really helpful in this situation if we can to ask them, well, you can't, your child may come to you and say, I can't find something, and rather than going to find it for them, you can be like, well, where did you look? Where would you look next? What could you do to help yourself, right? You can even create a little chart and be like, don't bug me if I'm working until you tried 3 different things, right? Or I think preparing snacks is another great thing, right? Some of the parents are just in the mode of making lunches for your kids, and yet being able to go get a snack or prepare the lunch can be empowering. Prepare a snack or lunch for a younger sibling can also feel empowering. Creating opportunities for them to be helpful with household chores is also giving them agency, giving them independence, and they see it. They see it that they're contributing. And so I think the situations that are full of what we call uncontrollable stressors over which we have no control, really ask for these opportunities where children can be in control and they see a positive impact on their families. At the same time, when kids are stressed and upset, they may act out. And we need to help them name the feelings and why they're acting out, why they're struggling, and give them opportunities to understand their feelings. I think when those feelings get too big, it's important to know that there's simple strategies to calm your stress physiology. So sometimes 3 deep breaths, but if they're truly deep, can really calm somebody's body. If you're overwhelmed as a parent, closing your eyes, counting to 10, or just even simply genuinely telling your kid, I want to help you right now, but I'm too upset and I just need a breather. I'll be right back. Can go a long way rather than just muscling through a stressful, challenging, conflictual, situation, kind of feeling all ramped up. So putting yourself in a better place physiologically to be able to come there and come up with a solution is really important. It's stressful and we have to deal with the stressor, but we also have to amplify the positive, joyful experiences in our lives. And it may feel like a lot, who can suddenly create these positive experiences, but they can be just small and they can count for so much. So sometimes it can be a simple ritual in the morning. It could be a silly greeting that every member of the family can come up every day. It could be a family sing-along or a dance, or maybe it's a joke of the day, but something that, brings you together and make you laugh. Every evening, as you tuck in your kids to bed, it doesn't take a long time to say, hey, what are your 3 highlights of that day? What are some experiences that, maybe I missed because I worked all day? What did you value? And sometimes just talking about positive things, you ensure that that's what they remember rather than all the negative and all the stressors. And there's sometimes really sweet moments. Like I'll sit down with my 5-year-old and he'll say, this moment right now. And that 30 seconds fuels me so much to continue going and continue coping. So amplifying these little things, sometimes a 15 minutes, 20 minutes of uninterrupted time, playing a game, or just letting the kids lead you in activity, whether that is pretending to be a cat or a tiger, or doing a puzzle or playing a game. It speaks volumes in terms of creating that sense of belonging and that connection that it's hard when we're multitasking and constantly just getting through the day. So the last thing I really think all of us parents, especially working parents or any parents that are dealing with multiple demands, forget is to ask for support and to take time to address our own well-being. Unless we can help ourselves, it's going to be much more challenging to support your children. And so taking breaks, recharging, doing something special for yourself, it's not just a treat, is really a part of wellness and part of mental health. And so knowing how to take a break or treat yourself or set some time separately just for you, it goes a long way in recharging so that you can support your kids. And asking for help it sometimes feels like hard or a lot, or we just forget. But knowing that teachers are there to support you, knowing that you can talk with them, learn from them, ask them for help. And then again, everybody in the family can really pitch in. These are not new tips. These are not new strategies. They're just things we sometimes forget to do. And they may not work at first, like schedule may not work at first, may completely backfire. But it's worth trying again. And sometimes they may not work at all, or for some families. And so I think I really don't want it to come across as a cure, because it's not. It's just kind of small ways in which we can just get by and try again. And it's a place where we can start. One thing that I like to kind of remind myself, and I think it's the best part about parenting, is that every day it's another attempt to try again, right? And so, yeah, you can worry about, oh my gosh, I yelled at my kid, or I really didn't want to do it this way, or, this wasn't appropriate, and then you just remind yourself that okay, but it's fine. Let's do it better tomorrow. Research kind of reminds you that, don't obsess about one thing and don't get too stressed about one single decision, because when we measure parenting over a longer period of time and then we predict children outcomes, yes, it matters, but there's so much flexibility and so much room for doing fine, even in a context of adversity.